What does it take to go viral on Instagram?
As simple as it was just like, I'm going to put our hobby on the internet.
Yeah.
In this episode, I've got Nate and Anna Boscaljon, who own Boscaljon Design Company and found success on Instagram with their woodworking videos, with one of their reels going over 100 million views.
And so we're like deep into this enough where we know like what does and doesn't perform.
However, does viral video always translate to sales?
If people can see that you're a decent person,
Yeah, right.
a likable guy, putting a sort of personality to the page, I think is important.
We talk about their content process, what it's like to go viral, and what the future holds for their video content.
Probably don't take anything personally that people comment on your video.
This is the Video Lab show where I have high-value conversations with experts in video marketing, video content, and video platforms. I'm your host, Caleb, and I've been helping businesses grow with video since 2012. I'm a video content creator, coach, and founder of the Video Lab, a content studio located in downtown Sioux Falls, South Dakota. If you're a business or individual wanting to learn more about how video can help you create more awareness, build trust, and generate more sales, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any other future conversations. Here's my conversation with woodworking content creators Nate and Anna Boscaljon about how they're finding success with video.
Guys, thanks so much for being on the show today.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Now, this is like, I feel like I'm in the presence of a video content super couple right now.
Maybe.
With your Instagram.
That could be.
Yeah, can you just tell us a little bit about what you do, first of all, and then a little bit, we'll get into the video content piece of it, but like, I mean, you're in the shop working with wood. That's awesome.
Right.
Tell us a little bit about that.
Right. You want to go first?
No.
Okay. I'll go first. So my name is Nate, and I'm here with my wife, Anna Boscaljon. Our company is named after us, Boscaljon Design Company. And we do work with our hands. We're in a wood shop all day long doing stuff with either robots or hand tools,
So cool.
a variety of tooling. And I don't know, 3.5 years doing it full time. We've had the Instagram for a little bit longer than that. Yeah, we just try to record everything and put it out there because, like you might know, we have a few like viral videos. We have one super viral video, and it's a video that just like we would have never ever thought to post, and we just like didn't have any content, and we were just like, well, we'll just put that out there.
It's
and then
crazy how that
and then it
happens.
just blew up.
Yeah.
It's the lamest.
Yeah, it's not something like we
It's
can like
not
show
even,
people and be like,
that cool. Like,
yeah.
This video has 101 million views on it.
Yeah. I feel like that's the case sometimes. It's like when I'm making videos personally, like if I put a lot of time into it, from my personal YouTube channel or whatever, if I put a lot of time into it, then it's like, doesn't get anything.
Right.
But I sit down and like just talk to the camera for a while and it's like, okay, that one performs well. I don't know why.
yeah. So we've stopped kind of like caring about overproduction of our content because we realize that it's like,
Well, because every time you like take time and you're like, this one's gonna do so good, and then it gets like 500 views.
Yeah, right.
right.
Now, this is great. I like having this conversation because you've seen little successes, and with some of the video content that you've been putting out. And so that's why I wanted to have you on the show. So thanks so much for being on the show and then kind of talking about the experience of actually, making videos and putting them together and everything.
Yeah.
So tell me a little bit of the backstory of like, why did you even start making videos? Like if there is that backstory, or maybe it happened by accident or something, but like, what does that look like in your journey of like making those, putting videos up on Instagram? How did it kind of start?
Yeah. So so I used to run our Instagram channel. Now Anna does everything with it. I have pretty much nothing to do with it anymore outside of that I'm in some of the videos.
Gotcha.
That and you respond to comments because I can't.
Right. I'm the comment responder because Anna will rip people's heads off.
Yes. Yes. Sometimes I feel like that needs to happen.
So do I, but
Yeah.
Nate doesn't let me do that.
Yeah. But like starting from the beginning, it was called something different. So originally it was called Tailored Woodwork.
Okay.
And the story behind that, short and sweet, is that I used to wear a suit every day because I was a financial advisor.
Right on.
And so tailored, like a tailored suit,
I get it.
woodwork. And so that was kind of a play on words anyway. I do remember like maybe one thing about first starting off, and it was like being super camera shy. And anybody that like is my friend or knows me pretty well, like might find that kind of odd that I would be camera shy. And now, of course, I'm not. But I remember just like recording probably 12 videos of me saying like something super simple and just me being like, my eyes are kind of weird, or like I paused too long, or I said too many times. And you're just like
Yep.
record. And then eventually I was just like, I just have to put something out. And then, I mean, that was, I can't remember why I started. It probably was
Yep.
just like, I'm a millennial, and it
Yep.
feels like all millennials like, put stuff on social media that
Right.
they're doing. And that's kind of probably what, as simple as it was just like, I'm going to put our hobby on the internet.
Yeah, no, that's sweet. What's kind of like the piece? I talk to a lot of artists, okay, that they will post something on Instagram, for example, and they're like, why am I not getting any engagement? Like, but they're only posting like the finished products of what they're creating, you know, and so that's what I think is interesting about what you're doing is like it's like little pieces of the process that you're posting. And how have you noticed like kind of that trend of like the process versus like the finished piece? Like what are people interacting with?
Yeah.
Definitely not the finished piece.
Yeah. Yeah. It's interesting how that happens, right?
Yeah.
I don't know.
So there are, some people that get mad. They're like, well, how come you didn't show what it looked like when you're done?
Right.
But
Right. People do get upset with that regularly at us, of where we've been trying to show more of the finished product, but then it just doesn't perform.
Yeah.
And so we're like deep into this enough where we know like what does and doesn't perform.
Right.
And so we know that the process performs better than like a slow-mo shot of like a table that we finish in a place, even though it's like satisfying for us to see the thing in the space, and we like to think it's satisfying for other people. People find it way more intriguing for us to put something through the table saw that is a single piece to the greater picture.
Hopefully not your finger.
Right, not the finger. Well, we have a table saw that would protect my fingers in the event. In the event I got my fingers on the table, so we have that going for us.
Yeah.
But it is just like people would much rather see me like chisel something or be gluing up some cutting boards that Anna might be making. For some reason, people like that. It's almost like leaking into ASMR sort of vibes.
Yeah, right.
Is what people seem to
it's
enjoy.
the worst. I hate it.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
Now, like you kind of, started just kind of documenting this now. Is that kind of like still the purpose of why you continue to make video content, or like has that purpose kind of changed? Like what's that purpose now?
Yeah.
For making videos.
Yeah. I feel like we have a ton of like followers compared to what we started with. Of course, we have, I think, around 106,000 followers right now. And so it kind of feels like we're continuing to post just because we like have people that we assume want to see our stuff.
Right.
At least a fraction of those people want to see some of the stuff from us. So that's maybe one reason. The second reason I think is like, well, of course we have like the bonus structure of sorts now with Instagram. So if we have stuff perform extremely well, we get paid. If we have stuff performing even kind of good, we get $1 here or there.
Yeah, right. It's like, oh, we can get coffee today.
Right. So that's kind of annoying, but it is like there. So I mean, we haven't focused much time on it yet, but what I would like to see is to funnel our Instagram following into YouTube, because it seems like that's a better like revenue source when we're talking like video income.
Yeah, right.
So that's probably like the purpose of sorts that we're not facilitating against right now, but it is like probably the next step for us that would make the most sense.
Now, do you have like, are you kind of generating new customers or like a customer base through some of these videos, or is it more of just like that awareness piece that you've kind of noticed?
I would say we're not generating any like customers through. Would you?
No, I would say that we like to think that would happen more often, but it just like, I mean, we have people reach out to our Instagram and reach out to our like Facebook accounts, but it doesn't seem like it's probably because of our content. It's probably just because like somebody we know told them about us and they found us by way of our Facebook page.
Yeah.
So the most like the closest thing to people like seeing our content and like reaching out to us is by way of like the machinery we're using. So like we have like a soda blaster machine that we used on a project that we have some intriguing videos on, and we got, what felt like 100 comments of people being like, what is this machine? What is this machine? And So that's like the closest version.
What is that machine? A
So-
soda blaster?
Yeah, so it's called a soda blaster. It uses baking soda.
Oh.
Well, not like regular baking soda.
Right, it's
but
like specialized baking soda.
special.
It's like woodworking baking soda.
Well, isn't it actually for cars?
Yeah, it's more automotive.
Oh, okay.
It's more automotive in nature, but it's basically like it is like baking soda. You probably wouldn't want to cook with it. I'm not sure that it's food safe.
Yeah.
But
Why
you basically
not?
put it in this machine under an extreme amount of pressure, and then you have this like wand that sprays out like a very thin but powerful like spray of baking soda, and use it to strip furniture.
Okay.
And so
But only clear coat and stain.
right, it won't
'Cause
take
you
off
can't,
paint.
It can't take off paint.
It can't take off paint?
No.
Right. We learned
We
that the
learned
hard way.
that. Yeah.
There's so much I don't know about this.
Yeah. I mean,
That's intriguing to me.
right.
I have to go to your Instagram and like go find one of those.
Yeah, it's one of our pinned videos, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because it is
Yeah.
one of the videos that went like you're right, it's got over 1 million views.
Yeah.
Of
I think
sorts
it
or whatever.
has like 3 maybe.
Yeah.
Now you were talking a little bit about going over to like trying to take your talent over to YouTube,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
What does that process look like for you? I know that you spend a lot of time, you know, making the Instagram videos, and that's almost like, you know, reels are a certain format, right? Like if
Mhm.
you're
Mhm.
shooting with your phone, it's probably more vertical, right?
Right.
Like what's that process kind of been like trying to make YouTube videos?
Mhm. Borrowing each other's phones.
Yeah.
Right. Like
Can
having
I use your phone so we can have one be
Mhm.
landscape or whatever
Oh, okay.
the other way?
So you're shooting basically the same shot with two different phones.
I don't like it in my face.
That's all right.
Yes.
Yeah.
So I mean we don't have any sort of like we are using our phones for
Everything.
everything.
Yeah, totally.
We have a low end DSLR camera that we like thought we'd be using
Mm-hmm.
for YouTube, but we just don't.
We don't.
Well, I mean,
Other
it's
people use it more than we use it. so-
Right.
it's so easy to like pull out your phone and start using it,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like one of the best cameras on the market, honestly,
Mhm.
right
Yeah.
now.
Mhm.
Right.
Depending on which one you have, but
Right.
like you just pull it out of your pocket and it's like accessible
Yeah.
to make something.
Right. So I mean, we have like a couple cheap sort of things that hold the phones.
Yep.
But outside of that, that's like our equipment. Like
Yeah.
we have our
nothing
iPhones.
fancy.
Yeah, we have our iPhones and a couple
fancy.
stands.
Yeah, I wanted to ask you about like what does a day look like for you when you're trying to make content? Like do you have a content day that you're like, okay, we're going to just make a bunch of content today, or is it kind of more like whatever we're doing, we're just going to document?
Yeah, it's the second
Yeah.
one.
Yeah.
Every day is a content day of sorts.
Yeah, we don't plan anything ever.
Nice.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah, we're definitely recording like just whatever is happening in the shop from
Yeah.
Mhm.
a project standpoint. It seems like it could be beneficial to have maybe some thoughts about like projects we would do that aren't client projects but are like we know would do
Yeah.
really well. It just feels like we don't have time for that. And
Right.
so like I'll be working on a client project on the table saw again to bring the table saw back in, and Anna will be working on something on the laser, or we'll be like sanding something or gluing something together. And when I can catch her eyes when I'm over at the table saw, because we know that the table saw performs well on
Yeah.
our Instagram,
Gotcha.
I'll like look at her, the dust collector's going, like a bunch of noises. We can't hear each other across the shop. I'll just like go like this to her, like, I'll like whisper video, and she'll like be
yeah.
like, okay, and she'll come over and get the phones,
Yeah.
going for the table saw. And then we'll have
That's awesome.
content, to post. So I mean, that's literally how it happens.
Yeah, that's sweet. Now, Anna, you said that, or I think was it before we were talking, or was it actually while the episode was recording, of like you're doing a lot of the kind of more the content piece of it, like the posting and
Yeah.
things like that. What kind of along this journey, like what are some things that you've kind of learned about specifically Instagram, that maybe might be helpful for somebody that might be watching this right now? Like as far as like the creation piece to the posting, is there things like trending audio that you focus on, or is it what you put in the post? Anything along those lines that you've kind of like just little tips and tricks or anything?
Yeah. I don't really know. Like I just hashtag, and
Yeah.
I think maybe one of the biggest thing is what time you post at.
Oh, okay.
Like when I post in the
Interesting.
morning,
Yeah.
it usually does better than when I post in like the afternoon or the evening.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But like before, like a couple years ago, if I posted in the evening, they would do better
Huh.
than if, yeah. So it like changes. And so you just kind of have to like figure out when you should post it. But yeah, I don't really pay much attention to anything.
Right.
Like
Yeah.
that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's like, this is what I love about just the video content in general is because little things like a table saw can just hit, right?
Yeah.
And like people like keep coming back for just little clips like that.
Right.
But then there's also like, you could spend hours just in analytics within the videos and still not figure out like what's happening with some of these videos. And so I think it kind of comes back to like, well, regardless, maybe just try it. You know, like jump in and just try posting a video and see what happens.
Right. Because that is kind of like, we know the general themes that do well. Right.
Yeah.
And it's
Totally.
And it's it's not because we've like studied the analytics or like did like A/B testing or there's none of that going on. It's it's literally, we've just posted enough where we can be like, oh, these last 12 table saw videos like did you know, 5 times the views or 5 times the engagement, or like got people going maybe in even like a bad way. Nowadays it feels like that we're trying to like make old white men mad with our posts.
Yeah, it's always the old white guys, and I cannot stand it.
So like,
oh man.
So sometimes our like wording on the caption, or just like trying to be like a smart ass or whatever, is directly pointed at them, and they always come out. They always take the bait.
Always,
it's like, thank you for the engagement.
It's pretty funny, actually. We can almost call it where we'll be like, that's the one thing we can predict.
Yeah, right.
When we post something, we're like, they're coming for this one.
Oh man, that's good. That might be the purpose of your channel now.
Yeah, maybe.
To see who you can make mad.
Yeah.
So as you've kind of been, you know, making video content over the last couple of years doing this, or how long have you been doing it?
Like 3.5 full time.
Okay.
3.5 years has been like where I would call us like more serious about it.
Yeah.
Before then, like I was doing it, and it was like when I remembered to do it.
Right.
Whereas Anna's like at one point, like we were posting once or a couple times a day.
Yeah.
How often do you post now?
Once
a day?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sweet. What are some challenges that you've run into over the course of that time frame of creating videos?
I don't know. I don't know.
Technical challenges, editing challenges, anything along those lines?
I feel like the only thing that comes to my mind is like when you just, and this very rarely happens, but like Anna will come to me and say, I don't have any content to post today.
Yeah.
And then we'll just like, we'll just find things.
Turn on the table saw.
Yeah, right. Turn on the table saw. There we go. There's our video for the day. So I mean, that's probably the only hurdle I feel like we've experienced.
Yeah.
Or I guess the only other thing is I sometimes just can never think of like a caption to put on it.
Oh yeah.
So I always have to Nate.
Yeah. I struggle with stories like that. Like, oh, I feel like I'm going to post a story today, but what should I say? I don't totally know.
Yeah.
Or the caption is my biggest thing too.
Yeah. I think, because talking about like Instagram stories, if we have stories at all, it's usually either just us reposting the post into the story that we just posted, which Anna does. But if it's like me to the camera sort of situation, obviously I'm the one having to remember to do that.
Yeah.
And I used to do that a lot, but I do that almost zero now. And that's...
Well, it's because you had people, like, we were making projects for people, and then they would, like, message us and be like, oh, can we change this? Can we change that?
Oh.
And it's like, no,
Yeah.
we're too far.
Yeah.
We're too far in, guys.
Yeah. Like people would think they were like watching a live stream of of their
interesting.
project.
Yeah.
And it would maybe be like,
I never really thought about that.
yeah, a day later.
Yeah.
And it's like, we're well past like changes here.
Right.
And they'd be like, well, can we do this little change? Or like, it became almost like a problem with our clients.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah. So that's probably the main reason why I stopped. Cause I was just like, the easiest way to stop this from happening is just to like shut it down and just not do it.
Yeah, which is unfortunate though, because a lot of people liked
Mhm.
watching you do your stories.
Right. So I think I just need to figure out a different way to do them, or just be like better at being like, everything you watch my story isn't like, just be more direct with clients of just like, no,
Yeah. We're not making these changes. But
Yeah, so those are some of the pain points that come to mind, I suppose. Yeah.
that's really interesting. I never really thought about that piece of it of like, posting that and then the customer seeing it and being like, hey, actually,
I changed my mind.
yeah.
Right.
That's real. I'm like kind of like stuck on that point a little bit because it's really intriguing to me.
Yeah, and it's people can pick out their projects. Like
Yeah.
it's not confusing. Like because all of our projects are different and custom. And like when I'm saying we're working on a walnut coffee table,
Yeah.
not that we couldn't be working on a couple of those at the same time, but like generally speaking, people know that's their coffee table,
Right.
and so that's why I feel like they feel extra comfortable being like,
Hey, I'm just
Can
going to
we-
reach out.
yeah,
Just checking in.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah. So it's
Now, I know you've had a few like viral moments on Instagram. Are there other, and I would consider those wins because those are eyeballs, right? Like
sure.
eyeballs on what you're doing, the process. Are there other wins that you've kind of noticed along the way of like, maybe it's like little wins or here and there, maybe it's brand deals or whatever that kind of along the way that you've noticed?
For sure. I mean, brand deals for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because like they can sometimes feel annoying, even though
Yeah.
you're getting like often like our version of brand deals has been product, like you're just getting product for free.
Yep.
So whether that's like woodworking clamps or glue, we've received a couple like significant machines for free, with the return of content and all that sort of stuff.
Yep.
So it's super nice, right? Because we've like for some of the bigger machinery, like we're talking $8,000 to $10,000 machines that we didn't have to
Yeah.
spend any money
Huge, right?
on. But we are leveraging our audience and like having to do work. So it's not like free, but it feels nice because we're not spending actual money on it.
Right.
We're just spending our time. And so that's one huge win. I feel like once we crossed the threshold of 100,000 followers, I started just like randomly messaging all the brands that I was even a little interested in working with and just being like, yo, you want to work together?
Yeah.
Yo, you want to work together? You want to work together? And just like some replied and some haven't. And so, we probably forget how much like free stuff we've received, but like we've received a significant amount of stuff
Yeah.
for free.
That's awesome. What's your favorite brand that you've worked with so far? And
Yeah.
speaking to me and us who may not be totally in the wood world,
Yeah.
what's your favorite brand and why?
Yeah. I feel like, I mean, it's the brands that tell us when I'm talking to them, I'm saying, what are you guys willing to like partner on? What do you guys want to do? And they tell us like, we'll give you this. And then my next question is, what do you want us to do for you on behalf of you guys for the exchange or whatever? And when they say, we trust you, and that's it. And that like, there's no contract. There's no like, we expect you to post 50 times in the next 6, there's none of that. We definitely have brand deals that are that way. But it's
They're
relieving.
awful.
Yeah. Those are like not as fun.
Yep.
But for the ones that like, are like, we trust you. We don't want to like influence your content in like a weird way because now this like, they're like, you have a big following. Like we're not going to try to make it weird.
Obviously what you're doing is working.
Yeah.
So
and
you do your thing.
Yeah. And brands that understand that are, of course, nice to work with. One of the brands that comes to mind is Bessey. So they're a clamp company.
Yeah.
I wasn't going to say that one.
You weren't?
No.
Well, you can say another one, but
yeah, we'll hear yours here in a sec.
Bessey feels like one of those brands that's like, we have a new product, we want to send it to you and just like make content around it. Obviously, we don't want you to like just be a ghost with the product. We want you to post about it, but like whatever you feel is appropriate, you guys, you do you.
Yeah.
So what's yours?
Yeah, what's yours?
I like walrus oil.
Oh, Walrus Oil.
Oh, yeah. I think I saw that one.
Yeah.
Where you busted that out.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I was like, oh.
And Walrus Oil gets used on
Like almost everything.
almost everything we make. So it's easy to feature them.
Mm-hmm.
And it is kind of nice because we just, like some of these relationships, you just get like a gift card that you get to spend as you need it. And some brands are like, it's more of a conversation about like, there's this product and we want you to try it. And there's a bunch of shipping and kind of like third party people involved and all this stuff. And it's not a problem, but it's just like different than having just like to go to the website and buy the stuff you want with the gift card you were given. So yeah, Walrus Oil is definitely another one of those. that's super easy to work with.
Does that kind of going into your world a little bit, does that lead to like some affiliate sales and things like that? Do you have like affiliate links that you're able to use and kind of monetize that way?
For sure. So Walrus Oil for sure.
No, they
Or
don't
no,
have
they
it
took it
in-
away.
They took it not like they didn't take it away because we were like doing bad, but just
Yeah, they just deleted it because they're like,
yeah.
they didn't see the value anymore on their end of the spectrum. They're just
Gotcha.
like, we'll just give you gift cards and you can buy whatever you want. Just teach people about our stuff.
Yep.
So probably the most worthwhile affiliate program as far as just like money is involved has probably been the laser brand that we're involved with, which is Monport. Yeah, we get I forget what the percentage is, but we get a cut of sales that people use our affiliate code for, and they're pretty generally significant purchases. And so when somebody buys a machine, the commission on it is nice.
It's just such an interesting like concept, right? Of, you know, you're just doing your thing, but here's like a whole nother revenue stream for you that's still in regards to working with wood and all that, but it's kind of just an intriguing point.
For sure. I think that's maybe the pull to YouTube as well. It feels like YouTube is a container for those things more than Instagram is.
Right.
Where you can have a long form video that lives. It feels like it just lives more on YouTube of sorts. It's just like more of a container, less of a flash in the pan sort of that Instagram sometimes feels like.
Right.
And I feel like links and stuff are way more like organic and natural on YouTube. Like people expect like, okay, I'm watching a video about a laser. I expect there to be an affiliate code or some sort of like link in here that I can click on and explore more.
Yeah.
So it just feels, that's the other pull I feel like to YouTube.
How does that work on Instagram as far as like if you have an affiliate link that you want to send somebody to, you can't really put that in the description necessarily. Do you have to like send them to a story, or do you have to like I mean, it really doesn't have to be an affiliate link. Any type of link that you want to share. Is it like a highlighted story or something like that? How do you approach that?
I think all of our like affiliate links are just like discount codes
Okay.
that we have
Gotcha.
that we can just like put in the caption.
Yeah.
And be like,
So they enter that code to get that.
Right. Yeah. That's how it functions on Instagram.
mhm.
And if people are reaching out like via DM, like I can either give them the code or we can give them the affiliate link or whatever.
That's cool. That's just an interesting look into that world, you know. I mean, I'm a little bit familiar with it with, you know, my personal YouTube channel and you know, affiliate links and all that, but it's always fun hearing from other people too. So now we touched on this a little bit, and I kind of want to go back to this. I want to go like you're in a workshop, has a bunch of tools and everything. I just want to go back and touch on your video tools one more time, because I think this is important. And I already know what you said, but I think this is important because I think it shows people that it doesn't necessarily take a lot. You don't have to have a setup like this to make video content.
Right.
Can you just run us through some of the video tools that you use to create your content?
Yeah. All that we have, and we talked about this
Our
too.
phones.
Yeah.
Yes.
We have 2 iPhone 16
Yep.
Pro Plus or whatever.
Pro plus plus.
Yeah.
whatever
whatever the best model of a 16 is, we have that. We
have one that's not a tripod, but it's like it's an L-shaped thing.
that you clamp onto things.
Yeah.
So you could like clamp on
Yeah.
to
It's not awesome, but it works.
Love it.
We
I
have
use those all the time, like little magic arm things.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have the little like microphone that's popular on TikTok right now.
Okay.
Right? Just like you plug into the
What
bottom
are
of
they
your
called?
phone.
Is it like a little handheld one?
Yeah. You can
They're
clip it.
the Magic Pop.
Magic Pop.
Magic
All right.
Pop. That's what it's called.
I
Visit
think,
the
right?
affiliate link down in the
No, I
description.
think that's what it's called.
Love it.
So we have 2 Magic Pop mics.
Yeah. And then we used to have a little like wallet-sized little tripod.
Okay.
thingy. I broke it though.
Yeah.
So we don't have that anymore, but it worked really good.
Nice.
Yeah. What else do we have?
That's really all.
Yeah, I think that's it. Like,
I mean, for our like camera that we don't use, we have that stabilizer hand arm thing,
Right.
whatever.
It's like,
Yeah.
is it like a
Yeah.
gimbal?
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a gimbal because
Those are overrated. I'm just going to put that out there.
they are because we haven't really
We
even
don't use
used
it.
Yep.
We thought it was a great idea for our like DSLR that we also weren't using at the time.
Yeah.
And like, well, if we just get a gimbal
Then
We'll
then
use it.
definitely
and the
use it.
camera, it'll just be able to float around.
It's not the way it works.
Yeah,
No.
yeah. So I mean, that's the extent of our
Yeah.
setup.
Moral of the
Yeah.
story, it doesn't take a whole lot.
No,
Yeah.
Right.
Or we really just lean our phones up against something.
Yeah.
And hope
Yeah.
for the best.
piece of wood and lean up the phone. And
Yeah.
if it gets the shot, then we're like,
You know what? Have you made like a little phone tripod with wood yet
Mm-mm.
or anything? Oh,
haven't done that.
There
It
you
would
go.
it would maybe make sense for us to do that.
Hey,
but
you could with that sign that or sign holder that we
Hmm.
made for Market Beat.
oh yeah, we could make it. Well, we have it. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
we
guess.
still have it, so we could just use that.
Yeah.
there you go.
We might have one in the shop currently.
This is an idea generator right here. Idea
Yeah,
generator.
yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, so it doesn't take much to
Mhm.
make videos, and so you're shooting both horizontal and vertical,
hmm
pretty much at the same time when it comes down to it, or
No, not always.
yeah,
Still mostly just up and down.
it's just up and down.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And we'll have to like figure out a reason to do YouTube videos now that we're outside of the scope of like having to do them for a brand.
Mhm.
Gotcha.
But I think like we're not posting that much and our videos aren't necessarily like what you might call like the highest of quality because again, we're just kind of taking the same approach as we have on Instagram and been
Yep.
like we'll stitch it together, it'll show a thing and we'll post it and we're not going to worry about the lighting, we're not going to worry about the transitions, we're not going to worry
Yeah.
about all the things that sometimes you feel like you should worry about. And even with us posting just like laser videos, it's interesting to see. It's not a lot, but like a subscriber will come in once in a while, and
Yeah.
you'll
Yeah.
see a subscription and be like, I feel like we don't even deserve this subscriber
Yeah.
right now, but like, but
It's
then
like
it's
you guys are gonna be
maybe disappointed.
disappointed.
But then
Don't
it's
say that.
But I mean, then it feels like if we did become consistent in it, then maybe we could see a subscriber or two come in every single
Mhm.
day, and then it becomes something eventually.
Yeah, then the ball gets rolling.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
And then you kind of learn like, oh, they're reacting to this type of video or
Right.
something, and keep double down on that.
Yep.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Now, if you think about your process of making videos, like, is there anything that would make the process easier? Like, if you could have anything at all to make like this whole process easier, because it takes time, right?
Mhm.
Like, it takes time to make. You have to remember to put the camera up,
Mhm.
that type of thing. Like, what would make the process easier for you guys?
Probably just more space overall
Oh yeah, nice.
because our
Yeah.
shop is very tiny and
Yeah.
everything's just on top of each other
Mhm.
and it's always messy and
Yep.
so it looks really good in the background.
You have a
Our
little bit of
videos.
sawdust.
A
Yeah.
little.
Right.
A little.
Yeah. No, it would be nice, like Anna's saying, to have maybe like a space like for like a feature wall. So
Mm.
like when we are
Mhm.
doing
Yeah.
things that are still like normal, but to have like a an aesthetic sort of like
Mm.
background,
Yep.
right? Because
That or like have the banners for like Walrus Oil or
Yeah.
like
Oh
Bessey
yeah.
up if we're doing like a
Right.
Bessey video, or
right.
Walrus Oil video.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. The other thing I feel like, and this is a pretty simple solution, but finding like a nice tripod for our phones to get angles that just like we end up either having to like not get or just like find something different that kind of works.
Yeah,
Like it'd be
right.
nice to have a more versatile like tripod of sorts to like get sort of any angle we want.
Hmm.
Is probably,
Do you do much like top down views, like basically just
Mhm.
straight down?
Sometimes
Some of that.
yeah.
when I'm like putting oil on stuff
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
or I'm just over Nate's shoulder.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Often when it's when it's actually like an overhead sort of video, it's
After you do this.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of us is just like really close behind the other, just like holding the phone. Is all it is. So
yeah, people can see what we look like sometimes when we're making videos.
Yeah, you should do a behind the scenes.
Right.
Of behind the scenes.
right, we could do that. We have a couple like just like security cameras in the space
Yeah.
that we can
Yeah,
we
there
can
you
pull
go.
video from. Yeah,
Talk about views. That'll get them.
yeah, right.
Oh man. So, you're thinking about video content. What does the future look like for you? You mentioned YouTube.
hmm Yeah,
What does that look like in the future down the road, 5 years, 10 years from now? as far as the video content piece goes.
Yeah.
Like I'm sure you have business goals and things
Sure.
like that, but
Right.
I
Yeah.
don't know. I don't plan my life that far out.
Yeah.
that is a ways down the road.
I think if I were to take a stab at it, like it seems right now that YouTube and TikTok are the underutilized platforms for
Mhm.
us.
But
Yeah.
TikTok's going away.
TikTok might be going
Oh.
away.
Remember?
Let's go.
So we'll see. We'll
Can't
see
s-
if it's
I
around.
can't stand that platform anyway.
Oh, really?
I've been experimenting
Oh, I
with
love
it,
TikTok.
but yeah, I
Don't
can't
like
do
it.
it. No,
Yeah.
I can't do it.
But YouTube does feel like the sort of stable platform
Mhm.
that would be like worth our time. Cause
Yeah.
there's a woodworking podcast out there and they talk about this sort of stuff as well. And, I mean, they're also saying that like Instagram is nice, but it's
Yeah.
just like not really worth your time
Right.
monetarily.
Yeah,
Even if you do have a ton of views, like, it's just, you're not getting paid
yeah.
for the time that
Yeah.
it takes to do the thing, even if it is just simple. So
Do you put your like Instagram reels as YouTube shorts at all, or not? Not really.
we have done that.
I have done that before, but the YouTube app on my phone never likes it when I try to
Oh, yeah.
like scroll back
Gotcha.
into to like find videos.
Yeah.
Because I don't post in real time at
Yeah.
all. And so it's just like old content.
Yep.
But then it always just like goes way back to the front and then I
Yeah.
just get annoyed and leave. So I'm like,
Yeah.
but
But
that's
But I think like 5 to 10 years, like it'd be awesome to, I don't know, maybe not be full-time content creators, but to have like a meaningful amount of revenue
Yeah.
coming from like a
Yeah.
YouTube of the world.
Mhm.
Because it feels like what that would do is it would free up our time to not have to do so many like client projects, and we
Yep.
could like do some really cool things that we want to do.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It would afford us that like time and money
Mm-hmm.
to pull those off.
Yeah, I mean, I would echo that podcast of like YouTube, especially in the space that you're in.
Yeah.
Like, I really think that YouTube would be,
For sure.
beneficial. I mean, it'll start off slow, right? But
Right.
you make the right types of videos and things, and
Mm-hmm.
thumbnails, right? Thumbnails are everything. I was just
Mhm.
having a conversation the other day at the time of recording this, like a couple of days ago, about thumbnails, and like that's
Mhm.
basically everything
Right.
on YouTube.
Right.
Thumbnail and title,
Right.
Yeah. And you could have like pretty much say whatever you want in the video, but as long as you get the clicks, people are staying on it.
Yeah.
That's not the best mindset to have, but
Right.
I mean, you want to offer value and like
Yeah.
entertainment and
For sure.
education or whatever that is. But like YouTube being like a fully search engine, right?
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
Right.
second largest search engine, but it's also, we were talking about this, like community driven,
Right.
And so in the YouTube workshop that I do, I say the YouTube is the perfect storm of a platform because it's fully search engine,
Mhm.
it's fully community driven. You have little pockets of communities like
Yeah.
woodworking
Right.
or laser cutting,
Mhm.
or
Right.
I wish I knew more terms. Like, but even with inward working, there's like little pockets of communities.
Right.
Mhm.
Walrus Oil. I don't know. Maybe that's like
finishing
okay.
products.
Yeah, finishing products. There you
Right.
go.
Yeah.
See, like I said, I don't know. But also, so the third thing that makes it the perfect storm, kind of like that movie. There is like the movie The Perfect Storm. You guys probably
We're not big movie
We don't
buffs.
watch movies
you
or
don't?
anything,
Yeah.
so we won't know anything.
Okay, so in the
Say.
early 2000s, there was a movie that was based off of this real life story, actually, based off a book that off the coast of New England, there was this ship that went out, and it was basically the perfect storm. This ship like went right into what was basically called the perfect storm. There's 3 elements that came in to create this perfect storm that don't normally happen. Okay. So there's like cold air, warm air, humidity, all that stuff like merging in this one spot, and this boat like went right into it. Anyway, starring George Clooney, but that's like YouTube. You have these 3 things, kind of like that perfect storm: search engine, community driven, but also it's all video.
Yeah.
Like you're not dealing with a bunch of other posts. I mean, yes, there's a community wall and things like that,
Mhm.
but like, those 3 things,
Yeah.
are huge when it comes to
For sure.
for that video content. So
Yeah. I think maybe it's not quite as video focused, but like as far as other platforms and revenue streams, like we've done nothing with it, but but I've looked at like school
Oh,
and,
yeah.
and
Yeah,
Patreon
yeah, yeah.
as interesting platforms
Totally.
to drive some revenue from subscribers and stuff like that. So those are some other
Yeah,
things.
I was
that are,
exploring school a little bit too.
Yeah.
Like, what does that look like?
and I'm
you know?
part of a community. I pay for
Yep.
a school, like be part of a community or whatever. And yeah, it's like seems super low barrier. It
Yeah.
of course costs money to have your own community
Right.
inside of it, but yeah, it
But
seems
e-
like the barrier is pretty low.
Yeah, but even in that case, I mean, like in the big scheme of things, it's not a huge investment like
No.
getting into it,
Right.
especially if like, you're able to build a little bit of a paid community
For
of,
sure.
of some of that content,
Yeah. Yep.
No, that's cool. Okay, so we've had this whole conversation about little successes that you've seen in video, especially on Instagram,
Mhm.
and kind of moving into YouTube. Now, like, let's say somebody's watching this episode and they didn't get anything from this whole conversation that we just had.
Mhm.
Nothing. What's one thing that you would want them to take away, a listener, somebody watching this?
Mhm.
What's one thing that you would want them to take away just from your experience doing some of this video content?
You want to go first? You go.
Probably don't take anything personally that people comment on your videos,
That's huge.
even though
yes.
I do that
Yeah.
terribly, and then I get. But
Mhm.
yeah, that's probably that, and just post whatever, like post everything that you do.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. Mine's a little bit like opposite kind of in a way. Not opposite, but like it's based on comments, and
Yeah.
like my motto is to reply to every single comment. Good, bad,
Yep.
negative, otherwise, in a different language. Right?
Yeah.
I'll Google translate
Yeah,
it
yeah,
and
totally.
reply in their language. Like
Yep.
reply to everything
That's
is
awesome.
kind of my motto. I'm not sure why that's my motto. I feel like it just like
Yeah,
seems
I'm
like the
not
right thing to
sure
do.
why it is either.
It just seems like the right thing to do.
And it's like, please stop.
Yeah. I've also I was maybe already decent at this, but I feel like I've gotten really good at prosing a question, right? To keep if it's a conversation to be
Yeah,
had, right?
yeah.
To keep it going.
Yeah,
To
totally.
get a string of 7 comments, because I think that's helpful. So I think if you're the type of person to reply to comments, and if you can like Anna's saying, like put all the personal crap aside,
Yep.
and digest the stuff without it becoming a toxic part of your life, because
Yeah.
it definitely can do that. Is to like try to engage, get good at asking follow-up questions to people. Don't just reply to the thing with a statement, always end with a question. Because I think it's important to keep the community like going inside of it, and if people can see that you're a decent person,
Yeah, right.
a likable guy, again, putting a sort of personality to the page, I think is important.
Yeah, that's a good note, because a lot of times, especially on Instagram, I'll respond with like a heart emoji
Mhm.
or something,
Mhm.
and it's not necessarily great engagement
For
or
sure.
or like keeping the conversation going. But
Right.
like, that's so important, of just like, if you are trying to like build a community too, you're talking about school, or even Patreon and that type of thing, building a community is like, well, you actually want a community to take place, and within communities, conversation happens, right?
Right,
So
right.
keeping that conversation going, but it is hard with those trolls,
Mhm.
it is hard. And even just a sense of like imposter syndrome creeping in
For sure,
too,
for
and
sure.
some of this, like, I think that's one of the hardest parts, other than, feeling confident on camera and things like that, is just like imposter syndrome, like creeping in and being like, I don't know.
Mhm.
I don't think I should post that,
Yeah.
because somebody
Yeah.
could probably say it better, or
Right.
somebody could probably do it better. Have you guys encountered any, like, in your own personal, lives, and done like felt that imposter syndrome of like, maybe I shouldn't post this because, or are you kind of like beyond that now?
I mean, you're the one posting. Do you ever have those thoughts?
Yes, I do have those thoughts. But I still
just do it anyway?
I just post it anyways.
Yeah.
I'm like, people are gonna get mad about this,
Yeah.
or they're gonna have something to say about it, and
Yeah.
just continue on.
Right. I think it's kind of like the cliche thing of like when anybody like says something that then brings in the imposter syndrome to your body, like
Yeah.
it is always more about them than it is about you,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
100% of the time, right? You like go look at these people's profiles,
Yeah.
and you're just like,
Yeah.
what?
I do
Yeah.
that every time.
And so it just like never makes sense, and you're
Yeah,
just like,
totally.
this is definitely about you, not about me.
Yeah.
But it's still hard, right, for somebody, again, like old person to be like, I've been doing this for 40 years, and
Yeah.
what you did was
What
the
are you
wrong thing to
thinking?
do, right?
Yeah.
Like, or whatever, and you're just like, I don't know. What my strategy right now to get just like uplifted out of it is to just reply like at the line of serious and sarcastic, so
Yeah.
people can't tell that I'm being a smartass.
Yeah.
You know, like the most recent comment that I remember replying to and just like laughing to myself about after I'd commented it was just like, somebody was like, "What's the point?" That was their comment. Like, "What's the point?" And you're just like, okay. And so I like looked at the post, and it was a post
For a squiggle cutting board.
for a cutting board that had a lot of like wiggle lines, and so there were no
Okay.
points. And so
Yeah,
I was like, listen here, Bill,
No, his name was Bob.
Bob, listen here, Bob. These are actually curved, so there are no points with this one.
Snap.
And you know, it's just like
Yeah.
he can get mad at me for that, or
Yep.
he can be like, is he being serious right now? Like, did he think
It's
I
like,
was talking
actually,
about?
now that you mention it,
Yeah,
let's,
yeah. So
Yeah.
I like doing that sort of stuff to the Bobs of the world that are
Yeah.
just like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
so that helps me get past it, right? To throw a joke and be like, yeah, I'm kind of funny.
Oh man. And your Skittle Blaster. I mean, Soda Blaster.
Soda blaster.
Soda- Skittle Blaster would be awesome.
Yeah, it could probably work too.
That
it might
might
work.
cause a little more damage, but
Yeah,
And be fruity.
yeah, it'd be colorful.
Fruity goodness.
Yeah,
Well, where can somebody that's watching this, where can they find you?
yeah.
I mean, I'll have you linked in the description, but
for sure. Yeah, if you type in our last name pretty much anywhere, our page should pop up, whether that's Facebook, Instagram, Google, YouTube. B as in boy, Oscaljon is how you spell it. We are probably posting the most content currently on Instagram. So if you're like
Yep.
looking for content, Instagram is the place to get that.
I post everything usually that I post on Instagram on Facebook.
Okay. So meta, just in general,
Meta,
Yeah,
the meta
meta.
world,
the meta world.
the metaverse.
Yeah, the
Metaverse.
metaverse. So
Yeah.
Facebook or Instagram. But maybe if some people like bother us in the comments on Instagram and Facebook about YouTube videos, maybe you can help us feel guilty about not posting on YouTube.
That is a call to action. So you just gave the call to action to go and bother you about you making YouTube
Yeah,
videos.
don't troll us about what you think you know about woodworking. Troll us about making more YouTube videos.
Love that. Well, guys, thanks so much for being on the show. It was great having this conversation and just kind of learning a little bit more about your process and kind of behind the scenes of making content. So make sure you check them out if you're watching this. And thanks so much. Maybe we can do another conversation someday.
Yeah, let's do
after
it.
your YouTube blows up to 100K.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go.
Yeah,
All
we
right. Thanks,
appreciate it.
guys.
See ya.